mods is the well. I see. I watched your video, and yeah, it sounds like it's weird that they don't give you access to the game engine so you can properly make mods. That just that's just not
That's
right.
not. That's something that a whole lot of people really don't know. The closest thing we have to the game engine is the Giants editor. We have no actual information of how the game engine works, files unlocked where we can build the game or stuff properly. We don't have that access.
What? That's
You mean
crazy.
yourself? Oh, never mind.
Maybe they'll find out that if they give game engine access, maybe people are gonna find out that they have been, because like I was I was watching Farm Sim, and I'm looking at like how things are rendering in, and I think to myself, and I was like looking at like when Buck was playing American Farmer, and then there was also then Farm Sim. I'm looking at how things are rendering in, and I'm like, is that really as far out as we can render? I mean, the graphics on the vehicles are great for Farm Sim, for the most part. But then, like, everything else is kind of just subpar. And I'm just like, is that really the best we can do?
So I believe you gotta remember this game is made for console as well.
That's true.
And you gotta remember, not only can I sit here on my computer play with an Xbox person and a PlayStation person at the same time, so the game has to be on the same playing field as consoles.
Right.
Now, do I feel they nerfed this game a little bit compared to what it could have been? Yes, because this game, when it originally launched, it also not only did it launch for the new gens, it also launched for old gen. It was the last Farm Sim game to be launched for old gen, so they held it back, in my opinion, so that we can still play with the old gen guys for the last time. Now, the next one I do expect more because they are not utilizing these new gens hardly to what they need to be.
I would hope that the next Farm Sim was going to look better. I really hope. I don't even play the current Farm Sim. And I'm thinking when the next one comes out, I might get back into it. Now, I'm not going to be doing Let's Plays. I am thoroughly 100% burned out from Farm Sim Let's Plays to the cows come home. I'm done. I cannot do it. I was putting in 40-hour work days just grinding soybeans so that I could buy a new piece of equipment. And I'm like, I can only watch a tractor harvest soybeans for so long before you start to go insane.
See, that's why we had that perspective of. That's why I like with the people I work with, because I founded a group called the Heyday Homies. And what we do is we're a group of 9 individuals who we just get on record, and we keep, because I feel like interaction with other people keeps the game interesting.
It definitely would. I was all solo. I played with like Buck and the guys like once. We plowed some snow, had a great time. But
especially, you just never know. But like, I will say this. I mean, see, I can get away with saying some stuff because I am not a Giants partner, nor do I ever want to be a Giants partner. So I can get away with saying some stuff that normal people can't really say because they're all Giants partners. This game has its flaws up and down. So the game itself, I mean, they call it a multi-core game. They did the bare minimum to make it a multi-core game. It's legitimately only 2 cores. It's 2 cores. That's all the game is. It's 2 cores. That's all it can support.
I always wondered that with games. If I hope the next one. Well, actually, I do and don't hope the next one. I've got a.
The next one just has a new game engine. Period.
Yeah, well,
it needs a brand new one because the current game engine, I'm having so many issues with it, and my guys are too. Like, I have an issue right now where 2 guys I work with cannot join the same server, or if they do, one of them will get kicked out every time.
So
but yet they can play any other game. They can play Minecraft. They can play other competitive farming games and have no issues at all. But yet when they play that game,
I don't know. LAN is weird. Because when I played Bedrock, we used to play with my cousins and stuff, and my stepbrother. It was hard to get everybody playing at the same time. Now, granted, this is Bedrock. Bedrock's a piece of crap. Like, I can't. I play on it in creative, and that's it. I would not trust it with a survival world. I just can't. So when you play the multiplayer, for the longest time, I don't know, might be better now. I haven't played multiplayer in forever, but it's junk. And I choose to believe, because Minecraft's owned by a $1 trillion company, so I choose to believe that multiplayer like that just must be really difficult, especially when you're trying to get, because with Bedrock, I was on PC, my stepbrother was on his console, and then my cousin was on his phone. 3 very different platforms all playing together, and I think the biggest problem was there was something, if I had something open on my computer at the same time, it would cause a problem. If I had Chrome open, or what was, I think we were trying to stream or something, or I don't remember, or maybe it was Discord. It might have been Discord. Something. There was something weird where if I had something open before Minecraft was open and we were that's what it was. It was Discord. It was freaking Discord. For whatever reason, so we were trying to play multiplayer. And so we'd join the Discord, be like, hey guys, let's play Minecraft. So then I'd be like, all right, join my world, because I have the computer, so and I have the best internet, so I'm hosting. Like, all right, everybody hop on. And it wouldn't work. They couldn't join. But if we turn Discord off, reset everything, and they join Minecraft, then we turn Discord on, no problems. So it really, the multiplayer, I can't get too angry at them for getting the multiplayer to work. But the fact that the multiplayer's gotten worse since 2017, that's a problem. Or not 2017, 2019, that's a problem. You can't, your new game, or your current game cannot be worse than your previous game in that aspect. That's just not, no. And farming is a collaborative thing. It's a community thing. It's always about the community when it comes to farming. Everybody's big about community and farming. So how the heck can Giants not get that right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
So, that's.
I mean, I think that game, personally, this is where I stand with it, is the combination of not giving the modders what they need to mod properly, which means in a lot of bad mods, which turns people off from the game. On top of that, you also have a situation where their multiplayer isn't right. Like, there's a simple bug in Farming Simulator where they could have fixed this ages ago. Like, you load into a single player, you load into a multiplayer world. If you terraformed at all and done, putting fences down, your fences will be floating 10 miles in the sky.
Oh.
And the collisions, so you won't see the fence there, but you'll run into it every time because the collisions are still there. So it's a simple bug like that me and you both know that's an easy bug. If we're detecting that every single time, why can they not find it and fix it? Well, they don't want to fix it. There's actually not been a bug fix for any multiplayer for Giant Software since the launch of FS22.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
For multiplayer. Single player, though.
Multiplayer. They've updated single player, but they will not update multiplayer, which it has the most issues out of everything.
Well, that's so weird. I don't get that.
Because trust me, it's really fun to sit there for 5 hours trying to find a game, try to find a server that one of your friends is in.
That's so...
Done that before.
So annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That would frustrate me a lot. I couldn't. But
when it's your job, you sit down and say, "Okay, fine, we got to do it no matter what." So let me just take my time and find it.
Yeah, yep. That's that. Imagine the amount of. See, I feel like that's something that, since, so Giants has these as influencers that are partners. Wouldn't it make sense from a Giants perspective that if they could improve multiplayer, which is how all their partners do it, I would assume most, if not all of their partners are big multiplayer farm sim people, and that they're not?
Go look at it. 90%, or the top 1% of farm sim YouTubers that are Giants partners. Go look at that. That top 1% that are farm sim. I just know these guys personally. The top guys, the like what we call gold tier. None of those guys all those guys hardly play multiplayer. Like take DJ Goham. He is the number one American guy. He never touches multiplayer unless he absolutely has to.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What does he do in the game? I played single player farm sim. I mean, maybe it's just because I played it in like pure survival or whatever. I wasn't like doing like role playing. I was just like, if let's say you're approaching this game, right, as like, I've never played this game before. I want to beat the game. How do you do that? You start playing it like me and you realize, oh, just grind soybeans. And I also realized that I could feasibly, so you could just sit there. So you could just do soybeans. And the thing about soybeans was, because I was playing with precision farming. This is back in 2019. So I was playing with precision farming, which basically meant that you could just keep doing soybeans over and over and over again. You would never have to fertilize. And then all you'd have to do is lime every three rotations. But then you could just put just soybeans, just constantly soybeans, and then you could just put them in storage. Just store the soybeans, and then and then you just watch the market for soybeans, and you knew soybeans would hit a certain amount. You knew, like, yep, that's good amount. And, if higher, better, but, like, there was a threshold. Once the soybeans hit that threshold, you'd sell all of them. It's not like the real world where it would just go insane, and you'd be like, if you just wait for a certain threshold, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't real, but it's a game where that's not built in, so it's not real world. So you knew there was a threshold, and you knew what the max amount of soybeans could be. So basically, I found out that you could just go and sell all your soybeans, and then that would be enough you could live off of that sale from like the last 2 or 3 harvests. You could just live off of that until it came around again. And I wasn't even playing the cheap way. I was playing the expensive way where I fuel auto-filled, seeds auto-filled, and fertilizer auto-filled when you had a helper. All of it auto-filled, which is really expensive compared to just going and buying it and hauling it. But I could do things faster because then, or it basically allowed me to not have to do anything. I could just let it run, go do something in the background while the helper farmed.
You're an AI manager is what I like to call that.
Yep, I was the biggest AI manager, and so I would just have guys running where I went and did other things, and it was just all you did was soybeans, because soybeans would just make you a stupid amount of money. They didn't require fertilizer, and so I just grinded soybeans like crazy. And the funny thing was, I started the series off. I had theorized, could you start a series off by doing cotton instead of regular farming equipment? I think I was in the intermediate. I don't think I was at the beginner, because the beginner gives you equipment. And I didn't want equipment, because then you'd have to sell the equipment. I was in the beginner, I believe. And yeah, you can. And I did. So then you just sit there and grind soybeans. Every once in a while I'd go and do cotton, because I still had all that equipment just sitting there not being used. But when I quit, I had like 2 or 3 of the most expensive combines not the most expensive, but the biggest combines in the game. The largest headers. I had several quad tracks. It was in. Oh, I guess no. What I ended up doing to make money faster, I got into horses.
Yeah, that don't fly in FS22 anymore.
I didn't think so because I just got the mod where you just pay somebody to go train all your horses. I got into horses, and so you'd sell your horses and make $1.6 million, and you're like, oh great, do whatever I want now. So what's the new meta to make money in FS9 and FS20 22?
Productions is the best way in my opinion.
Production.
It gives you something more to do. You're building up an actual economy as well as business as well as a farm.
I haven't played because I just remember in FS19 there were mods to get productions where like you would turn your wood into like wood pellets, and then you could sell wood, you could turn the wood into planks, and then like the planks could be turned into pallets, and you could sell the pallets, or you could use the pallets to then make other things. Is that now kind of more base game?
There ain't no kinda. It is base game now. They came out and did a full base game. Productions are base game. Even for the newest mobile game, productions are base game. So, I mean, you're able to build something more. It gives you kind of a storyline, something that you can follow to your prestige. You know what I mean? Gives you something more to do than just harvest, get done, go, repeat.
Yep.
I mean, it gets boring after a while. I mean, you can ask me, Buck, Grant. I mean, we'll all say the same thing. We get tired of having to sit there and farm slowly but surely. My number one pet peeve is really, truly, I hate starting from zero, and I hate small farming. Like, I would rather be farming at a big operation on the game, but sadly, this is the truth. Sadly, there's no views in that. Nobody unless your name is DJ Goham or Clutch Simulations, nobody really wants to watch that. So you got to tailor it to the audience, and as far as I've seen, is the audience really, really, truly love starting from zero and building yourself up from nothing.
I mean, yeah, I remember when I did it back in 19, starting from nothing. I watched that little case. What was it? I can't remember. There was one tractor. There was this Case IH tractor that was dirt cheap, but had tons of horsepower and a big motor, and it was like the go-to value tractor. And I just remember sitting there watching it freaking cultivate with the tiny cultivator. Just hours watching it just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you're like, what is this? What has my life turned into? I was sitting there in college, and I'm like, well, I'll just start the grind, I guess, and sit here and do homework. I didn't do that. I didn't freaking do homework. Actually, at one point, I was so just fed up with freaking college that I would have my professor on in the background during class, because this is during Zoom. This is back during COVID. So the professor would be on yapping about who knows what. I'm sitting there playing Farm Sim. Oh man, it was bad.
I did that, but with GTA 5. Instead of playing Farming Simulator, see, that was back before I knew about really starting a YouTube channel. Before I owned a computer.
Right.
I mean, this is a true story. I've only owned a computer for a year now.
A year, all right.
So in a matter of 1 year, I've turned it into a business.
Hey, that's pretty good. I've owned this computer since end of 2019. Yep, I built it just before the pandemic. Still haven't turned into a business, but my problem is, well, among others, I'm just in a niche thing. Not niche, but like, and it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to get people. And honestly, I think at this point, I think the main channel is the algorithm is so confused by all my previous videos I've ever done. It just doesn't know who to serve the stuff to. It just doesn't know. So it's an uphill battle, realistically, which, is what it is. Like, the supersonic ping pong video, which never worked. I kept having a freaking vacuum seal leak, blah, 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 science things. It just never... 10 views, just sits there. And it's like, I spent almost a year working on that thing. And 9 months. Probably 9 months working on it. Oh well. Not 9 months like all the time. There was several months where I didn't do anything. I just basically work on it for a weekend and then take a month off. None. That's how my current projects go. I literally just bought... What?
I wish that's the way it worked with Farm Center content. I wish I could just crank out like 1 or 2 videos a month and just let it go. Oh, it'd be so a lot easier.
I mean, they just don't. I mean, my videos don't get views. But it's like, I don't have an option to like crank. I can't. I used to make science videos and we'd crank them out all the time. But then I was just like, I don't have the technical abilities or the creativeness to turn those into like the big science YouTubers. They have graphics and all kinds of stuff, and it's just like I just don't have that. It was just a lecture, so it's like, okay, we gotta do something else. So it's like, all right, let's do projects or experiments, right? Something visual and interesting, but those take time. I can't crank one out every week. It just doesn't work. I can't, like, this box. I bought this box at Hobby Lobby Saturday. And my mission is to turn this box into a steel and lead-lined cage to hold a small radioactive sample of uranium. This is complete overkill, completely unnecessary. Because the thing's been sitting in the back of my closet underneath 50 pounds of lead. It doesn't need that. It honestly could just sit back there without the lead and be fine. But it's more for the meme at this point. But this is not a weekend one done weekend project. This is gonna take time and money.
I'd say this: if it wasn't for my editor, I would be a lot slower at producing videos.
Yeah, well, biggest problem is I like a cut steel.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But anyways, well, last segment. I swear. All right. Usually I like to leave these at like an hour long, hour and a half at the most. They used to be like 2 hours, and I couldn't sit there and edit those anymore. It took too long. I would just sit there for 2 hours and just, is there a swear? No. Is there a name drop? Maybe. I don't even cut the swears anymore. I gave up on that. I just said, leave them in. Screw it. Leave it in.
My editor a long time ago, my editor dislikes me because when I was younger, I'm trying to break the habit now because of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I used to swear a lot, and so now doing what I do now, I don't like swearing anymore. And every now and then, I'll be in the middle of like doing some really good RP, and all of a sudden, one will just slip out, and he'll get so mad at me. He's like, "You ruined a good one! Oh, and you just had to say it, didn't you?" It's hilarious. All right, what's your topic?